Well, I'm going to the city and I'm gonna do a silly show. And I know all my fans wanna learn how to make some dough. I've been cruising up and down for trades each and every night. And with my iPhone reclining, I know we're gonna get it just right. I'll get inside your mind, we'll have a real good time. We're gonna trade today, we gotta trade today. Go askSlim.
Hi, I'm Steve Miller. Call me Slim. And this is the askSlim Market Week. It's a look back at what happened in the financial markets last week, and a look forward to what might happen in the next week. And hopefully, lots of great ideas and opportunities for you throughout the show. Well, the stock market rose sharply in the last week as the rebound that came late last Friday turned into a complete reversal, with the market gaining back the 3% that it had lost that previous week. Buyers were really happy to see more favorable reports come out about the U.S. and China trade talks, even though there was a delay to that supposed signing meeting that was coming in March. That really seemed to not bother the markets at all, and government manipulation could be seen everywhere as huge stimulus in China comes again on top of huge stimulus they already declared in the previous weeks. Eurozone, of course, staying in their negative interest rates, and they have lowered their economic outlook. And Japan keeps talking 2% inflation, and they can barely get to 1% inflation, and they have now lowered their economic outlook and keeping their rates at, well, NIRP, that's negative interest rate policy, at minus 0.1%. It is all over the world that this massive amount of stimulus comes 10 years after the Great Recession hit. It's just amazing that they don't see that what they do doesn't help. And long gone are the days of the markets that move based on anything other than government influence. I've been around here trading 45 years, which 45 years starting in early part of May, and that's amazing. I've seen a lot of markets out there, and these last 10 years are markets that are very different than, well, my previous 35 years, as even though the Fed was in action, it's never been anything like these activist Feds that are simply stepping in and changing the world as to how you figure what the real economics are out there. And with world economies weakening, corporate guidance pretty much weak across the board, well, there are pockets here and there where you get something positive. No one really cares about that at all. And the tell really came last week as Boeing fell very hard after the second of two horrible crashes with their 737 MAX 8 airplanes and 9 also being grounded. And there's rumors out here on Friday that pushed the market up through a key resistance level that Boeing had a quick fix coming for that airplane, and then Boeing came out and denied that. But the market is holding up near its highs of the days right now as I'm doing this video. The fact that big Boeing decline could not break the market, and that's one of the tells, as the Dow, that Dow stock really weighed on the Dow, which underperformed this week, but the stock market was still able to surge to the upside in a big way. And Apple helped that also, because seemingly on the day that Boeing got creamed, they came out and upgraded Apple like they had some intention around that, and that helped the market start to move to the upside again, and really firmed the market up. And also semiconductors late in the week got very strong also, and that helped the market. We described in last week's show of Market Week, and also in our Wednesday show on Future Speak, where we analyze 6 segments of the futures markets, we talked about momentum and how that was remaining positive using our momentum indicators. Now, they didn't lose ground. They stayed positive even through that 90-point drop in the S&P 500. So between the Boeing decline, not being able to break the market, and momentum staying strong, that was really an important tell. And as long as those market internals remain strong, well, the rebound that we've seen in the market and this gain of 20% is not over. We're going to talk more about that as we move into the short-term view at the end of the week. And not all internals really are remaining strong. While our indicators on momentum continue to show positive, there is one indicator that our cycle analyst RV shared with me that was put out by Index Indicators, that this is worth a look, because right now there's something a little strange going on, and that is while the S&P 500 surges up to a high, what we have going on here right now is a condition where the S&P 500 is moving up, but breadth indicators here are lagging. And you can see right over here, this is the breadth indicator as it started to come down while the market corrected about a 3% drop, and you could see the S&P 500 now moving back up to a high. But the breadth indicators are really weak, so you really want to see breadth confirming on the upside, and in this case it's not doing so at all. So you're going to have to get a condition in here that changes where we start to see breadth picking up and catching up, or this rally that we're seeing in the market will be the last of it. Really important to see it expand. And it's when you look at the action in the Russell, which is really starting to lag the rest of the market, that is an indication that maybe breadth is failing, and failing at the lower end of the market. In other words, the very low cap stocks that are represented there, and potentially the lower segment of the S&P 500, which just may not be participating. So a narrowing an amount of leaders on the upside is what we're seeing, and that is an indication of some of these internals beginning to weaken. The big test is going on right now, and as this Boeing news came out, the S&P 500 moved up through a key level and seems to be holding very well. I'll show you that in a second. And even if we do get this successful attempt, which does look likely, and I'm going to show you more about that also in the short-term view coming, we still see that there's a significant correction coming in the stock market. And all along we've said that decline is going to come sometime in the late spring, starting, we had a range of peaks between February and May, and now we've had a little shift, so it really looks like it's May, June is where the significant bottom is likely to come. So we're looking for the market to top, and then for the market to move down very sharply. But right now it's not happening yet, and certainly has moved beyond levels that we expected. We're still looking for that peak, and we think it's a very high probability that between now and early June, we're going to see a sharp decline in the stock market. In the meantime, let's take a look at what's going on in the 60-minute chart of the S&P 500, which gives you a clear look at that rise in here that we have had this week. Not a whole lot of news during the week. Here overnight on Sunday night, on Monday, the markets were stronger overnight, and they weren't really not affected by the fact that Boeing dropped 12% early after that Ethiopian crash. And at that point, many of the 737s were grounded, but the market got strong, and the Dow actually recovered at that point. Boeing was very volatile moving around, and the NASDAQ exploded 140 points to the upside as Apple moved up $6 on an upgrade right there, as you can see. And all of a sudden there were doubts overnight over the new Brexit deal, and there was a lot of Brexit news that came out, and towards the end of the week they simply voted to delay Brexit, and I don't even know how they can do that, because they have really a hard deadline at the end of March, and that's not really following the will of the people. But it looks like they're going to get a delay in Brexit, and that kind of weighed on the market. And Boeing down 7% again overnight here on Tuesday, but then Apple moved up again. Interesting how these moves come perfectly to offset the decline in Boeing. CPI up only 0.2%. That's after the previous 3 months having been unchanged. And year over year, there is a very sharp slowing. You know, year over year, it had peaked up to maybe about 2.8% for a while. And now inflation is really coming down again. And I can just tell you that that's a factor of the deflationary forces that the Fed put into place way back when they tightened up before the Great Recession. So we're still feeling that. It's 10 years old, and it's going to be hard to get any kind of inflation in here with the Fed having manipulated problems. And also the technology, you know, IT is so strong that it's wage growth is really slow. Here you see Boeing rebounds here, and the market moves up here on Wednesday. Here Trump and Xi delay their meeting for April or later, and you see it barely weighed on the market right over here. And Trump came out and said on Thursday that trade talks were progressing quickly, didn't really get much move. And this is the only day in here, Thursday, that the market actually finished just slightly lower in here. And you can see on Friday what's going on as this report about Boeing that they had a quicker fix moved the market up sharply, and that moved it up through the resistance area in the S&P 500. The Empire Manufacturing News survey came out at a 22-month low. That weighed on the market a little earlier, but then just as we have seen basically through this huge rally these last week and something, every single day the buyers come in, and pretty significant, just as they did here today. So we have a market in here that is moving up very sharply here, with on Friday the S&P 500 now up about 0.75% as we get into this midday period, up about $22. So a really significant upside move going on right now. Significant not only because it's strong, but because it's moving up through a very key level. Later in the show, I'm going to show you an important thing that happened in implied volatilities, that as I show you a VIX chart that I think is very valuable. So I'm going to do analysis just in a little while on 16 stocks that were the best and worst for the week, and then give you my short-term view on 5 sectors of the market for next week. And I'm going to include that VIX analysis in there, which I think is important. For the week, the stock market, the Russell and the S&P 500 both up about 2.5%. The NASDAQ up around 4%, and the Dow Jones a laggard around 1% to the upside. A little bit more maybe now as Boeing has gotten some legs back here. Bond market, 30 years, a few ticks to the upside, not much. What's interesting is that the 10-year yields fell about 3%, and so we have a steepening of the yield curve going on, and the financials like that. And in my show that I did on Thursday, where I did a review of the airline group, the defense aerospace group, and also the financials, I was talking about the fact that the steeper yield curve is good for the financials. At least investors like that, and that's likely also to keep the stock market buoyant while it looks like there's another shot to the upside in these bank stocks. So I looked at 5 money setter banks and investment banks, and I think that that's a very interesting video for you to see. Important to be watching all of my videos so that you can get really a good feel for all of the great stuff that we bring. Gold up about $6 on the week, rebounding as the dollar moves down about 0.8%. That in line with our expectation on the dollar. Oil moving up as OPEC is doing everything it can to fight what are slowing world economies and super supply productions going on here in the U.S. So it's fighting to hold it up, and now Mideast tensions are picking up here in the U.S. In the Middle East, not the U.S., and with Hamas having shot missiles at Tel Aviv for the first time in almost 5 years, and then Israel then bombing Hamas, and that's really picking up. Lots going on in the Middle East, and that's a certainly dangerous situation. So We'll see if the market's going to pay any attention to that, the oil market. Maybe that's, kind of why it's firm. That's it for the opening segment. I'm going to bring you lots of stuff as we move forward. Whether you're new to trading or you're a seasoned veteran, our video library can be a huge boost to your knowledge. I want to share with you our 8 different categories of videos in our Level 2 membership and tell you about this just great offer. Our library contains all of these categories of videos, nearly 400 videos, and we do 3 new ones each week. Future Speak, which we do on Wednesdays. This gives you our analysis of 24 futures contracts. Tools for Text, there is nearly 75 videos in here. We talk about all different kinds of charting tools and studies. You'll really grow your ability to look at and read charts. Trader Psychology, well, I've been a coach, facilitator in personal growth and in the markets for 22 years, and I really help you look at the personal issues that really can get in the way of your profitability. IRA MO is our look at longer term strategies. Stock sectors we do on a regular basis, where we look at groups of stocks and ETFs. They're ready to pop or drop. Big picture analysis, I just did a recent one on the U.S. stock market, always looking at the major markets. Style, strategy, and plan, well, these are many different subjects on engaging in the markets and trading. And our, of course, Market Week short-term view, which we bring you every single week on Friday. And then you can take a look at the archives also and see what we said in the past, as those archives are stored there. You can have this unbelievable value right now as you look at well over 300 videos, and the first-time members get this entire video library. You can binge watch all of you want with these 3 new videos that come each week, and it includes our stock index report, which is a very comprehensive look at the indexes, where we show you our charts every single week that we look at in the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Russell, with several of our different studies in there also. You can have all of that, a 1-month trial, half price, only $18.50. Do all the binge watching that you want. You can cancel anytime you want, or it'll renew, and that will give you the ability to just keep watching and keep learning. You want to get our half price link, write me at slim@askSlim.com, or go to the front of the web page and click on Contact Us and let the support team know that you want to get that half price link. $18.50 for all of that learning that you can do. I mean, it is just an incredible offer. So please do support yourself in learning and support us becoming an askSlim Level 2 member. Thanks a lot.
Here come the best stocks for the week. These are stocks that had big rallies, usually driven by good news. Watch as Slim shows his cycle analysis and discusses if there are more gains to come, or if the odds are high these upside moves are selling opportunities.
All right, for the best stocks for the week, we're going to do what we always do. We look at weekly charts and I apply cycle analysis. These are the rhythms of the market or the heartbeat of the market. You want to learn about this style of analysis, all you have to do is subscribe to our workshop. 20 video modules on cycle analysis. Took me 2 years to write and over 6 months to produce. And there's nothing out there like that as comprehensive as that workshop. So just go to our website, go to the top where you see workshops. You'll see 2 of them there. And please do consider our workshops. Great source of information. All right, so the best for the week, the stock that we're going to start out with is Diamond Offshore, which is part of the energy sector oil service, or the drilling stocks. This is a stock that is trying to make a base, and you'll see what I mean. Now, on some of our charts, we put in our cycle analysis, on the bottom, overlaid by the individual ETF in there. In this case, the dashed line is the OIH, and you can see that the group movement along with the diamond offshore movement is very similar. So it pretty much tracks the group very closely. So that's always helpful to look at the ETF. And also we have our colored phasing in here. When it's green, it shows you the rising phase. When it's yellow, it's a corrective phase. And if it has a breakdown, it becomes a red phase, like you see right here. And this early breakdown, which brought you the big decline. Now what we have going on is a basing. In other words, you made a low over here, and it tried to break, and it couldn't, and now it's rallying again. This looks a little premature to us as it moves up as energy gets stronger, but you could see it's way off those peaks and barely has moved up. You can see the 38% is way up over here. So we believe it's premature, and that this is likely to have one more drop. And you can see the forecast that we put in here, that it'll probably test this area under $10 again. And that to us would be the buying opportunity if this base did complete and not break down. In other words, not get below this low over here at about 865. So this looks like a base forming in there. And if you were an investor and you believed in the strength of energy going forward, which I don't necessarily, then this would be a stock that you would be patient in, and in a few weeks, in a dip, you would be another buyer. You just watched the opening to the askSlim Market Week show. To watch the full show, just become an askSlim free member. It includes my analysis on the best and worst stocks for the week and my short-term view in 5 major markets for the coming week. You're going to learn a ton about charting, technical analysis, cycle analysis, my unique way of looking at charts, and we show lots of ideas that may bring some great setups for you going forward. Here's what's in that great offer that I think you're just going to get a ton of benefit from. You're going to get the full Market Week show. You're going to get Market Week archives, the special videos from our premium library, sneak peeks to great new products coming up, and all kinds of things along the way that we're going to put in there that you're going to enjoy. All you have to do is become an askSlim free member, and there is no credit card necessary. Please do join and take advantage of that and watch the rest of the show.
I'm going to the city and I'm gonna do a steady show. And I know all my fans wanna learn how to make some dough. I've been cruising